Look, I don't care if you guys love Donald Trump or hate him. I don't care. Just do not listen to this man's advice on Bitcoin and crypto. We're going to break down what Trump said about crypto and Bitcoin and why everyone got so mad about it. But first, welcome back to my channel. Be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, turn on bell notifications so that you actually see my content. I don't trust the algorithm gods, and neither should you, if we're being honest. But back to Trump and what he said. His comments came in a recent interview with Fox Business's Stuart Varney. And I'm just going to let you listen to what he had to say himself.
One last question. You don't like Bitcoin? You wouldn't invest in Bitcoin? Do you invest in the stock market at this moment?
So not at this moment. I think it's high. So I have not invested in the stock market at this moment. I have in the past, but I have not at this moment. I think it's high. Okay. Bitcoin, it just seems like a scam. I was surprised. You know, with us, it was at 6,000 and much lower. I don't like it because it's another currency competing against the dollar. Essentially, it's a currency competing against the dollar. I want the dollar to be the currency of the world. That's what I've always said.
So one thing that stuck out to me there was Trump called Bitcoin a scam. And I just don't understand that. I don't understand what about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency more broadly could be a scam. I mean, it's just digital, decentralized currency that's not controlled by any government, and nobody can really inflate it or mess with it or collude like you could if you've got the Federal Reserve or somebody in charge. So yes, Bitcoin and some cryptocurrencies are highly volatile. They go through these huge swings where they're worth a ton and then they're worth very little and go up and down and up and down, but that doesn't make them a scam. I mean, people know that they're volatile. They know they're going to go up and down. So people are putting their money knowingly into it in hopes that it will go up, but they know it's not going to be stable. So nobody's getting ripped off here with Bitcoin. Nobody's being misled about what's going on with it or what to expect. So the idea that it's a scam, it just seems like Trump doesn't understand it. Now, some people would say that Bitcoin's a scam because there's no actual value underlying the currency. But that would make just about everything these days count as a scam, and value is entirely subjective anyway. I mean, the US dollar isn't backed up by gold anymore, but it still has value because people believe it has value and it has the backing of the federal government. When it comes to Bitcoin, sure, there's no gold in a vault anywhere or actual resources that it can be accounted for, but that doesn't mean that there's no true value to it because people believe that it has value to them, and it is predictable. Nobody can inflate it, nobody can make new Bitcoins outside of the existing mining schedule. So it does have value, and it's not a scam, as far as I can see, in pretty much any way. The other part of this that we should really talk about is the idea of the US dollar and not competing with the dollar. That's a bad thing. Now look, most people probably, if we're Americans, we're US citizens, I am obviously, we want the dollar to be a stronger currency than maybe around the world. But is Bitcoin a serious threat to the dollar, a competitor to the dollar? Well, first off, it's not going to replace the dollar anytime soon. Let's just be clear. Bitcoin can be used for a lot of transactions now, but it's way too volatile and it hasn't caught on to the extent that it could actually replace the dollar. I mean, that's just so far away from the imagination that it's not even really worth considering. On the other hand, it does compete with the dollar in one sense, but that's actually a good thing. So Bitcoin, like I've been telling you, cannot be inflated. We've been seeing huge inflation lately with prices going up and the dollar basically being degraded, in part because the federal government just prints trillions of dollars to spend rather than directly raise people's taxes. But Bitcoin gives you a hedge against that inflation, right? It gives you an option to put your money where that inflation can't erode your wealth. And in that, it actually keeps inflation in check. When people have other options, the government knows it can't inflate too much. If there was no check on that, they could just have a field day with our money and erode it and spend like there's no tomorrow. Though, I mean, they're going to try to do that anyway, but you see the point. So in that, you could actually argue that Bitcoin helps protect the US dollar from being eroded. Is it a competitor in some way? Sure, sort of, but it's just not a threat to the dollar as a global currency. And so Trump's dislike for it on that base just doesn't make any sense. Let's be clear, Trump's not the only one that doesn't like Bitcoin. I mean, Elizabeth Warren just came out with comments about how she wants it to be relegated and for it to go away, basically. And it should tell you something, that politicians, from both sides, the people in government want to crack down on Bitcoin, even across the ideological spectrum, people as widely apart as Trump and Elizabeth Warren. It should tell you something. Politicians want a monopoly on money and a monopoly on every form of power they can wield on us, just, everyday citizens. I, for one, like the idea that we have decentralized options that people in Washington can't control. And that's the real reason they hate Bitcoin so much. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Bitcoin, and if you think Trump or Warren are onto anything, make sure you're subscribed, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video.